And welcome to another episode of Box Trick. I'm your host, Matt Brady. Joining me, as always, Thomas, the Motos Davis, and Alan Thomas. And today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do a Let's Rank. So we are going to rank the Final Fantasy games, the main series games, so 1 through 13, minus 11, since it's an MMO and doesn't count. Neither does 14. So this will not include things like spin-offs, add-ons like Dirge of Cerberus.
One-off games like Crystal Chronicles.
Yep, so things like that, or Final Fantasy Tactics. Alan desperately wants Final Fantasy Tactics to be like first on this list. So
Third.
well, it's not in it because it's not a main series Final Fantasy game. But so main series. And so the point of this isn't so much that we've come up with the list, but we're going to make this list as we go. So we're gonna see how this goes. So okay.
This whole podcast is going to end in fire.
It is. So it's about discussing which one it should go where and why. Okay, so I think starting at the bottom, I think we are all in agreement in last place is Final Fantasy 13.
It's in my last place.
Like, I can't think of anything that I would put below it. At least not in the main series of games.
Right.
Like, that game, the first whole section of that game is pretty much mostly cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even that interesting of a storyline.
It's not. And even though we're putting this game in our last place of main series Final Fantasy games, we're not saying it's the worst game ever. Like it's Final Fantasy 13 is still better than a handful of other RPGs. Like, and a lot better than a lot of other games. So we can at least give it that. I mean, would you rather play Final Fantasy 13 or Infinite Undiscovery? You know.
Yep, true that.
Yeah.
Is there a spoon option, like a rusty spoon to gouge out the pleasure centers of my brain?
Anything else option? Yeah. I mean, Final Fantasy 13 isn't even the worst Square Enix RPG, for Xbox 360, PS3. I mean,
didn't you just name Infinite Undiscovered?
Exactly. Well, Last Remnant.
That's Square Enix.
I mean, at least it was playable, unlike Last Remnant. You know what I mean? Like that game didn't even run very well at all. At least it only came out on Xbox 360. It barely even ran. You had to install it, and even then, it was still choppy.
It's on PC now, though.
No. Well.
And apparently, it runs a lot better on PC, but it's still
not a very good game.
Last Remnant,
right?
Which isn't that great of a game anyway. So.
Yeah. Okay. So in last place, we have 13, and we're all pretty agreed on that one. Okay, so let me see here. So that's my 12th place game. So at 11, I have Final Fantasy 2.
Not to be confused with Final Fantasy 2.
Right. So yes, so it is 1 through, so it is their original Japanese number. I guess we should clarify that. So this is their original Japanese number. So even though Alan's Final Fantasy 3 cartridge for the SNES is Final Fantasy 6, we will be referring to that game as Final Fantasy 6, even though it says Final Fantasy 3 on the cartridge.
Yep.
And we are also taking the games in their original format. So they're, at least for us, US release. So Final Fantasy 1 is a NES game as opposed to a more definitive PS1 game. And Final Fantasy X is the original PlayStation 2 release, not the PS3 or PS4 remaster. That's how we're looking at them. We're correct in that.
Yes, that's correct.
Yep. Okay. So so at 12th or 11th place, I have Final Fantasy 2.
So this would be what release is this of it?
This would be Final Fantasy 2 did not come out in America until the PlayStation 1 when they started releasing like the Final Fantasy Anthology. What was it? It was Chronicles, Anthology, and I have them over there because that was the one where they released like 4 and 5, and then they released one with like something in Chrono Trigger.
It was 5 and 6. 5 and 6 came together.
It was 1 and 2, 5 and 6.
Yeah.
4 and Chrono Trigger, wasn't it? And we didn't get 3.
So.
I don't think we got 3 for a while.
3, I think,
for whatever reason, I
until
think I got skipped for.
Right. 3. No, I think...
Actually, wasn't 3 like the first one that hit America?
No. One was the first one.
One
and
and
that was
two.
on
That's
NES.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one was the NES,
the
yeah.
actual first
One
Final
and then
Fantasy.
4 and then 6 were the first 3 ever released here.
Yeah, 1, 2. We received them as
Oh yeah, that sounds
1,
right.
2, and 3, which was 1, 4, 6, and then I think we got 7, and then we started getting the anthologies. And
Yeah,
then,
I'm pretty
and then
sure
8, yeah.
7 came before 5, which came in the anthology.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but so
Now-
okay.
I'm trying to remember. Was Final Fantasy the series where the reason why it had so many gaps in the release is because the Japanese publishers didn't think or thought it was too hard for American audiences?
Yeah, which is actually why we got Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
Yeah, that was made just for America, wasn't
Yep. Yeah. In Japan, it's called. I believe it is called Final Fantasy USA, similar to how Super Mario 2 is known as Super Mario USA in Japan, which we know Super Mario: The Lost Levels, which is their Super Mario Brothers 2. We know it as Super Mario: The Lost Levels. Okay, so then so are we in agreement that 2 is that low?
it? This one, I mean, 2 and 3, because I've never really played
Yeah,
them. I just have them at the bottom, basically.
Yeah, so I have 13, 2, and then 3 at 10. Because 3 I think is a slightly better game than 2. Because 2 is almost like it's really similar to 1, and 3 is actually where they started fleshing it out a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, 2 I definitely put pretty low simply because it's that weird one where they wanted to continue what they were doing, but they had no direction for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would agree with putting it pretty low. So not because it's a bad game, but simply because it's just in that really awkward state where they don't really do anything with it.
Yeah. Okay, so let me see here. So we have 12 games, correct? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. Just gotta get my list here correctly. Sorry, because that's like I have numbers and then I have other numbers. I'm like, oh god.
So what are we putting in our 10th place?
I have 1.
No, 1's good. 1's a real 1. I have up higher.
Definitely up higher.
At 10, I actually have I have Final Fantasy 12.
You know, I didn't play enough Final Fantasy 12 to really be able to put it in this. It's one of like the few Final Fantasy games I've never really played.
Yeah. Well, I think once you get past 13, 2, and 3, the rest of the series is really good. I mean, 13, 2, and 3 are kind of like the odd games out. And then the rest of the series, I think honestly, I mean, with the handful
I thought you meant like 13-2 and 13-3. I was confused for a second.
nope.
You were
Excuse me.
them.
Yeah, no. I mean, the Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 2, and Final Fantasy 3. Once you've gotten past them, the rest of the series is like that's where the debate really starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds more correct because I also thought you were talking about 13
yeah.
too. I was like, I thought we weren't doing those.
No. Yeah. No. You are correct in that. So, yes, I have. So then I have 12.
I've got 12 a couple spots higher.
Okay.
I've got 1 right there.
See, one is a really good game. So I have it slightly higher.
I own it too. It's fine.
I mean, it's not fine. It's what made the series, and it's also, I mean,
It's
got a good story, and it's kind of hard though. It can be a pretty hard game if you don't all pick monks and just like run the table like. But I mean,
it doesn't get as fancy as anyone else in the series beyond 2. But then again, like we said, 2 doesn't really do anything with the series anyway. But I mean, that's fair. It's the first game,
right?
But it is a really good game. I don't think it belongs that low on a list.
Right. That's why. Yeah. I have Final.
Certainly not below 7.
We just prefaced that 13. Yeah, no, 7's coming up before too long. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. That'll be a debate.
With 13, we prefaced this with that 13 is not a bad game. It's on the bottom of the list, but it's not a bad game. So
right.
I don't know. If I just 1 was just kind of bland. Like I played 2 and 3 or 4 and 6 first, and so going back to then play 1, I was like, eh.
Right, but we also have to. I mean, we also have to take
And
you have to take into consideration that RPGs today would not look. I mean, 1 like set the bar. You know what I mean? Like Final Fantasy 1 and Dragon Quest, or the very first Dragon Quest, like set the bar of what of what RPG should be.
Yeah.
That's why I have it above 12 only because 12, in my opinion, it's where they changed like the battle system to like an MMO type battle system, and
I mean, they definitely did interesting things with it. I think we were talking a little bit about this earlier. But I mean, like I said, I can't really talk about that game. I never really put time into it, so.
Right. Well, I mean,
they definitely tried to do interesting things with it, and from what I've heard, it sounds like it worked pretty well.
Yeah,
it was okay. It was a fine game. I had more fun with it than 1.
Fair enough.
Okay, there we go. So in our 9th spot, do we have 12 or do we have 1? Which one are we saying it deserves to be above the other one?
I think I'm the only one who puts 1 there, so.
Yeah. I just think 1 is
better than
a solid little package. I don't.
So far our list is starting from bottom to lowest: 13, 2, 3, 12, 1.
Is 1 really next for you guys still even?
Yeah, that's right. I have 1 at 8 above 12. Okay. So now in our 7th spot, this is where the debate is really good.
Well, we got to talk about 8 spots still, because we all have different things there. We can't skip over them, or we'll miss one of the ones I like that we elected. I have 5 in number 8.
Okay. No, I have 5. I have 5 quite a bit higher.
Oh, really?
I have 5.
Yeah, dude, 5's really good, man.
It's definitely not a bad one.
No, none of them are bad. Well, okay.
Well, no. I'm talking in terms of Final Fantasy in our scale of ranking here.
Right.
None of the games are really bad, but I would say as far as Final Fantasy goes, it's not a bad one.
Yeah.
Like it's, and as we said, none of the games are terrible, but there's definitely a scale of quality. But I don't know. I think 5 is a bit higher, but I don't put it that much higher.
And so, Matt, you had number 1 here, and Thomas, what do you have here?
It's kind of. I kind of want to put 4 there.
Whoa!
But then again,
the fuck out!
I never played.
Fuck out of here!
Here's the thing. I never played 4. That's why I don't know where to put it.
Off the team, man. Off the team. You never played 4?
I never played 4.
Oh my god.
Okay.
4
I
was
played
the first
3,
one
6, 1, 2, then everything up till 12, and then 13.
Wow.
And I played all of those except
Final
for
Fantasy
12
is I learned how to read.
Sorry?
I learned how to read because of that game. Like in 1st grade, I was like, I have to know how to read so I can play Final Fantasy.
Your reading comprehension has no effect on my list. But no, I mean the only reason I would put it so low is because I have not played it. So I mean, there's other games that I have played, or other Final Fantasy series that I would put higher simply because I know what those games are about. I know what they are. I know.
All right,
the story
time out. We can resume this later.
Okay,
you
yeah. Okay, hold on. So both Alan and I have 4 much higher.
And that's fine.
Right. So this is your 8th slot, correct?
Yeah.
So you have Final Fantasy 1 ranked higher than Final Fantasy 4.
It's literally the 7th spot.
Okay.
And the only reason 4 is that low is because I don't know anything about it. Like I've said.
Okay.
But I know the other games that we've talked about before that, and
right.
I know I do not like those games that much.
Okay. So Alan, what do you have at number? What do you have at number 7?
12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 12.
12. Okay.
So we've now made up for that. We're all caught up. What do you have there?
At number 7, I have Final Fantasy 8.
Yeah, you're a little behind me on that one. I'm gonna be waiting a while before Final Fantasy 8 comes up. What about you, Thomas?
8's definitely a few slots higher.
Yeah.
I legitimately like 8 more than 7, so you're gonna see those one after another. But
Okay. Okay. How about this? Should we just each go through our list, and that way
Nope, I like this better.
Yeah, this is
Thomas, what
fine.
do you have at this spot?
I'm sorry,
What do you have at this
7?
spot? Let's see. You have 7 right here?
No. I'm asking which spot are we talking about?
we're
The
talking about the
7th spot?
7th
7, yeah,
spot.
7.
Yeah.
I think I just said it, didn't
He
I?
did. Yeah. He has Final Fantasy.
1.
7? 1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. You said it was 1 spot ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and we've already covered, like, it's kind of the defining game of the game of the series, the one that started it.
Right.
So, I mean, it's pretty high up there simply because it is a really good title and it's the first one.
Yeah.
It remains good to this day.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
Well,
I
okay.
mean, a lot of modern titles take precedence as well.
Yeah. Okay. We'll come back. We'll just keep going. That way we can. I think we need to see more of each other's lists so we can really start to push things around. Okay. So what do you have, Alan, at the 6th spot?
9. Oh no, wait, sorry. 7.
Wow. And I know Thomas does not have Final Fantasy VII very high, so.
It's actually the same spot.
Ugh.
There's so Final Fantasy VII has a decent storyline, but it gets way too much fucking credit for being the first 3D one. It's not that great.
No.
Sorry,
it
it's just
is.
not that great, but it gets so much cult praise because it's the first fucking 3D one.
So yeah.
Materia is a dumb ripoff of Espers. It's dumb.
I don't know if you can really consider a ripoff, considering they're in the same like series of games. But at the same time, like I do get what you're saying. But I don't know. I just have a problem with like literally all of the characters,
Right.
every single one.
Right. Now I know none of us have Final Fantasy VII at number 1.
Well, yeah, you
Like-
know that because you don't have it there.
Yeah. Well, I know all three of us probably have the same game at number 1.
Yeah.
And I haven't really played much of that game. But 7 I feel like, because of its significance, I do feel like it deserves to be slightly higher than that. I mean, I have it higher than my favorite game in the series, because I feel like significantly wise, I feel like it probably is a better game.
That's a weird way to rate
No,
things.
no, it isn't. I'm sorry. I think I know what game you're talking about. No, you're wrong.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so for right now, okay, hold on. So for right now, we're gonna put Final Fantasy VII at what spot is this? 6.
Oh, 6.
6.
Okay.
Me and Thomas have it there. What do you have at 6?
At 6, I have Final Fantasy V.
Okay, sure. So that now we take care of an earlier disagreement.
Right. So we're saying Final Fantasy V is higher than the 6th spot.
All right. I think we're on 5 now.
Okay, at 5, I have. It kind of pains me to do this because I feel like it could be so much higher. Final Fantasy X.
I have it one after that. I have
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 9 right here.
The problem. Whoa. Okay, I don't know about that. But well, the problem, like, if Final Fantasy X's ending were better, I would have it at number 1 because it's so freaking good. Start to almost finish.
Like it is pretty solid right up until it gets
The end is so
really fucking shaky at the end there.
The
yeah.
end is so bad. Like the game should end with you fighting. Like Seymour should just like take control of Sin, and you should just fight them both at the same time, and that should be it. Instead of going inside Sin and like having the game's final boss is so easy.
Yeah,
you
being
can't
really
even lose. It's almost impossible for you to
you
lose.
fight like one of your guardian things, don't you?
No, you fight like Yu Yevon, and you have this thing where like he doesn't like it. It's just like it's like win mode.
It's pretty much a cop out.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, and considering like every time you fight Seymour up to that point, he's brutal. Like when you fight him on the mountain of Mount Gagazet,
Yeah,
where he
that
just
fucking,
like
I quit the game for 3 months because
Yeah.
that boss fight was too hard.
he just one shots you and your Aeons or your summons, and like it's such a brutal fight. Like that's probably the hardest fight in the game, and you still have like 10 hours afterwards
You know,
of gameplay.
that fight didn't get to me that badly, mostly because Legend Dragoon pulled that shit on pretty much every boss fight
Oh,
after
God.
the halfway point.
Oh god, yeah.
Like, if you didn't have a talisman on the most important character for
Mhm.
that fight, you were gonna lose it every single
Oh
time.
yeah. Unless you like power leveled your additions.
Even then, like all of them had like one-shot kill attacks.
Yeah. Yeah, it took me. I spent like I got to that fight so many times, and I was like, I like that is the fight that caused me to like quit the game, start over like a couple months later, and then I'd get back to it, and then it took me forever to beat Final Fantasy X because of that fight.
10 was kind of a slog at that point, but I don't know. It
Mhm.
does kind of like get a little bit easier after that
Yeah.
fight.
But yeah, in Final Fantasy X, it's also the first game with voice acting, and like, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. There's some cheesy, stupid moments, like of course everyone's
no, they're
favorite,
not.
everyone's favorite laughing scene. But like the voice acting is not bad, especially considering what voice acting was at that time. Because voice acting in video games at that point, I mean, you had like the PS1, and you had some terribly digitized things on like the SNES and Genesis before that, and then like you didn't really. That was like really one of the first games to have like what I consider to be like top-notch voice acting.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
So I have 9 there. You have 10 there, you said?
Yeah, I have 10.
Thomas?
I'm trying to think about what I have list-wise, because actually I think that's a good position for 10 now that I'm thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But at
And
the
that
same
makes
time,
sense.
I was gonna drop 8 there simply because that's where I feel 8 should go.
No, I've got 8 higher.
Yeah.
Like,
See,
don't get me wrong, I like 8.
I do too.
And I had a lot of fun accidentally breaking that game.
Yeah.
That was entertaining. Like that time when you don't even know what you did, but you log in, you have 99.99 on your timer, all the
Mhm.
cards, and a
Mhm.
ton of items you shouldn't have. That was entertaining.
8, I feel like would be a better remake than 7.
I could agree with that.
I think actually, if 8 had been, I think if 10 had been, I think 10 actually could function better as a PS1 game, and if 8 had been made when 10 was made, 8 would be the best game ever, the best Final Fantasy game ever. I think because it has so much potential, but all that potential is kind of, I think the fact that it was a PS1 game held it back a lot.
You know, I can agree with that. And honestly, like it does have a lot of potential in the storyline, and it feels like they just either didn't have the time or
the
space to explore
Yeah.
much of what
because
could have been.
like you can tell some like they had these really good ideas, but I mean hardware limitations might have held them back. Like,
And that's kind of why I want to put it at the 5 spot, because I don't think it should be. I feel like it should have been higher than that, but I don't think it can be lower than that.
okay,
Like it's right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick with 8 for my 5 slot.
so you have 8. You have 8 as a better game than Final Fantasy X.
10 goes higher.
Okay.
I have 10 next.
Okay.
Same, mostly because of 8 being in that weird spot where I feel like it should be there.
Right. Okay.
Honestly, it's kind of tied for me.
Okay. Well, let's just keep going. And that way we can come back and we can push things around since we're all at different mindsets here. Okay. So what are we at now? We're at our 4 slot.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. At 4, I have Final Fantasy 4.
Wrong. Thomas?
Well, we just said. I just said 10 was going to be my 4 slot.
Okay.
But
10's your 4, and 10's also my 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So our 10 might have to get moved up. Okay. Okay, so at 3, I have Final Fantasy 9.
8.
Wow. Okay. Thomas?
I'm gonna have to agree. Final Fantasy IX is a pretty good game for the 3 slot.
Okay. And then at 2, I have Final... At 2, I have Final Fantasy 7.
No. No.
Final Fantasy 4.
Okay. And then at 1, I believe, obviously...
What did Thomas have it to?
2. I think it was 5, actually.
Okay.
I really enjoyed 5. Actually, did I say 5 earlier?
Yeah,
No, I don't think I did.
No, you didn't. Okay, and then
Yeah.
at 1, all of us have Final
3,
Fantasy
6, whatever.
Yeah.
Yep,
Final
6.
Fantasy 6. Okay. All right. Okay. So now I have the list. Okay. So now that we have things agreed upon, so pretty much from the bottom we have 13, 2, 3, 12, and we're all pretty much in agreement there. We all feel like 6 is the best game. Okay. So now the discussion starts. Okay. So are we okay with 13, 2, 3, 12, 1?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So
I'm fine with that.
13,
From
13, 2, 3, 12, 1. Are we okay with that?
I suppose I can accept that. I think 12 is better than 1, and I
Okay.
have 5 in the slot that you have 1 in.
Okay.
But
yeah,
I
have
can
no
accept
problems
that.
with
Okay. So now we need to start talking about which games are better than other games.
that.
Okay. Is Final
Battle
Fantasy
begins.
Okay, so is Final Fantasy 8 a better game than Final Fantasy 7?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
It
hold
has
on.
more character customization.
Okay, hold
With
on.
the
I think
How
it has
you
better
equip your
character
magic.
storylines, except for the main character, who's kind of adult through all of it. But then again,
Okay.
so's Cloud. So
He's just very vanilla through the whole thing, but the other characters are way, way better.
yeah,
Okay. But 8
the main
8's
villain
kind
is
of
in a fucking
8's
mama's
Okay, hold on.
boy.
Okay, hold on a second. 8's storyline, to be fair, is kind of all over the place.
No,
is.
it just sort of changes halfway through.
And
Then they also had that side story with the other characters.
like Laguna and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Although you
Laguna.
do have I will give 8. 8 has probably my favorite Final Fantasy battle music, and it's, Man with the Machine
And it's
Gun.
got the best card game.
It does have the best card game. Because the
Card game is pretty
the card game in 9 is like I don't even know what it is. It's
And
like
you
a
can steal
puzzle.
summons from bosses, and that's always fun.
yeah, but like the magic system in 8 is also like the draw system is
Yeah.
is kind of
It's
I
It's
thought it was
weird.
sweet.
It works really well if you're remaining aware that you have to use it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
if you're coming in from the other magic systems, it's definitely not going to be the best transition.
okay.
But also
But
the
honestly,
way you
I have
equip
no
it to your
problems with the
stats,
boss.
it's super cool.
Okay. So let me move on to some other games that we have ranked in our makeshift thing right now. Okay, so we're saying 7 is 7 better than 4, 5, 9, or 10?
4, 5, 9, or 10. It's better than 5.
Is it though?
See, there we go. There we go.
Is it though?
This is what this podcast is supposed to be. This right here. Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but 7 has a lot of issues that a lot of people
Matt
just
thinks 7 is
gloss
better
over.
than all of those. So.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I think 5 is just a more solid game.
Right. Okay.
than 7 is.
But 7. The thing about 7 has a lot to offer as a game though, because 7 there's a lot of fun mini games like the Chocobo racing, like the Chocobo breeding is a lot of fun. The materia system I think was a fun, different way to. It was different because it's like normally it's really like the first.
Effectively Espers. Let's be honest.
It is an Esper ripoff, except for
Yeah,
Espers were characters that actually meant something.
Yeah, but like 7. I mean, it's like the first. I mean, it's one of like.
You got nothing.
God damn it.
You got nothing. Like, I think even like the main villain in 5 is just better than the whole all the bad guys in fucking 7. Like
What?
Sephiroth.
Isn't
Sephiroth
it
is
some
a pretty
weird
boy
thing?
mama's boy who fucking cries through the entire goddamn series. That
Isn't
is his
5
character.
villain like some generic name though, like something X or X Death.
It's
It's X Death, isn't
Yeah.
it? Ah, so dumb.
No, I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty generic name. But Sephiroth might have a better name, but that's it. That's it.
A better name. All right.
Like, I'll give Sephiroth that he has an interesting name, but
Okay. All right. So we're gonna. So for right now, we are gonna put Final Fantasy 7 in our 7th slot. saying that
Like-
6, 4, 5, 9, 10, and 8 are better games.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I mean, I'll give you the whole mini game stuff. It had a lot of fun mini games, but
Okay.
fuck the story.
Okay, so
I
now
played
okay.
many games more
Alright.
than the game.
All right, so now that my initial list is tossed out the window, which I'm fine with, because some of those, because there were games that I wanted to put higher, but I had them moved around for different reasons. Okay, so let me make a case for the number 2 slot for Final Fantasy 9.
Okay.
Okay, Final Fantasy 9, first of all, is a
Now
true.
wait a second. Didn't you initially put Final Fantasy 9 in your 3 spot?
Yeah, you did.
But now I want to put it at 2. Well, because I had
Okay, I just wanted to
Right.
to clarify.
well, I had 7 at 2.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Which I like, as I said earlier, I feel like is more so
Yeah, he
because of
fucked-
significance than what I actually enjoy as a game. So Final Fantasy IX is a tribute to the series. It like pulls in everything, like it's like a 3D classic Final Fantasy game. It brings back the idea of the crystal. It even brings back a villain as Garland, who was like the villain in the very first game. Final Fantasy IX has good mini games. You have the Chocobo like treasure system, and that's how you level up your Chocobo to finally get the golden one. You have like the Moogle like mail system, which is a fun side quest. And really, Moogles weren't even in 7 or 8. So like bringing the Moogles back. What else is it? It does have a card game, and the card game's nowhere as good as 8's, and it's kind of weird, to be honest. But it also brought in the idea of like synthesis, where you had to like combine weapons and stuff like that, and that was kind of cool. It also has a lot of good Easter eggs in the game. Like you can get Steiner, you can get one of his characters' main weapon or one of his best weapons if you beat the game, and like if you rush to the end of the game in like 13 hours, which is hard. So there's a lot of challenge in it. You also have this like auction house thing, and there's tons of side quests in Final Fantasy IX. It has
9 is good. 9 has my favorite art style of all
Yeah.
the 3D ones.
Yeah, 9 also, in 7 and 8, you only had 3 characters, and 9 was the one to bring back 4 characters. 9 also, in a weird way, has multiplayer, because you can put in like 2 controllers and have one person control somebody during battle. I don't know. It's like,
I'm pretty sure you could do that with all of them.
I don't think you can do it with 7 and 8.
Because the second controller works just like the first controller.
Does it?
Because you could do that.
I don't know if you can do it in 7 and 8. I don't
in
know.
4 and 6 too, I think.
I don't think I had it in 7, 8, but I definitely remember doing that in 6. Like it really was like just copying the controller to the second controller, but
I might be mistaken. I also think Final Fantasy IX might be the biggest PS1 game.
4
ter-
discs, I think, right?
Well, it's 4.
it was definitely in the running.
It's 4 discs, but I think it's also like 4 discs like at like maxed out like memory. I might be
It's
mistaken
definitely
on
not
that, but I'll
the
look
only
that up.
game to have 4 discs, but I could see
Right,
it being
yeah.
the largest PS1 game.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, 9 is really good. I think 9 is better than 10.
7?
As I said,
Yes.
I like 9 better than 7, but I felt like 7 due to its significance. And as soon as we put it that low, everyone's gonna bitch at us. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Their game sucks.
Yeah. Okay. So that is my case for 9 at the second slot, being better than 4, 5, and 10.
It's definitely not better than 4. I could say that
It's better
I
than
have
5.
it one spot behind 10, but I could accept it as being equal to and maybe 1,
Okay.
Fair enough.
So do you have it better than Final Fantasy 5?
Yeah, way better.
Okay.
Like I definitely have FF9 above Final Fantasy 5.
Okay.
And
So
honestly,
right now. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, honestly, as I said, 4 is like the only Final Fantasy game I haven't played, so you can even just safely remove that from my list because
Okay.
I have no reason to put it anywhere.
So right now our list from worst to first is 13, 2, 3, 12, 1, 7, 8, 10, 5, 9, 4, 6.
That's fair.
Unless anybody has any disagreements along the way. So is Final Fantasy 5 then better than 10 and 8?
No.
You know, I could see it being better than 8.
But not better than 10.
We went over like 10's a really good game as long as you ignore the ending.
Yeah.
So I have trouble putting 5 above that, except for the fact that 5, has
I don't know.
An
I'm
ending.
gotta knock it for the ending with the bad guy being named Exdeath. So.
like that's his name. His mom probably gave it to him. It's like you're Exdeath now.
It's better.
Damn it.
Is it a better name than Genova?
Genova's
No.
fine. It's not high on the list, but it's fine.
I'd say Exdeath isn't necessarily the dumbest boss name. It's not the greatest though. It's pretty.
Okay, what boss name in Final Fantasy is worse than Exdeath?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
There's a game that has bosses and they have like the same name, but they're totally different, and like it's hard to really tell exactly what the hell is going on. It's like Elsie and Lussie, and like I don't really know what the is going on with like in Final Fantasy 13. It's like, are you you're like a Lassie or an Elsie? I don't know. Or Falsy. Like I have no idea what's going on.
The names feel completely arbitrary, like even more than Exdeath. Exdeath wants to destroy the universe.
Yeah.
So
Exdeath sounds like a boss. Sounds like a villain. But a Final Fantasy 13, it's like, am I a Lassie or a Falsy? I don't know. So Exdeath is.
Oh, Falsy. I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, Exdeath is better than that.
I honestly feel like the quality of the villains makes most of my list up, except for 10. But I mean, 10 had great villains. It's just the last villain was.
Yeah, Yu Yevon. It came out of nowhere. It's weird.
I mean, Kefka's easily my favorite Final Fantasy.
That's not even fucking close.
Kefka's by far the worst.
He has the best music, the best noise.
Literally destroys.
And he's the only fucker to succeed.
Yeah, he wins. He becomes like a god. And then you beat him in the end because you got like 17 people on your team.
Yep.
Okay.
Like, say what you want about the psychotic, mentally broken clown. He fucking wins.
Yeah. Okay. So is that do we have a list then? Is that our list?
Well, so do you guys? Matt, where did you have number 4?
I had Final Fantasy. Oh God, sorry, wrong thing. I had Final Fantasy 4 at 4.
Okay. And you had 7 and 9
above it. Yeah.
So why is 9 better than 4?
Why is 9 better than 4? Well, I mean, 4 is I like 4. I like the idea of like you being like a Dark Knight and then like that whole idea. Like with Cecil, he's really sweet. It's like. For honestly, like that's an early RPG with really good character development. As weird as that sounds, like, because like you don't really think of like the story being a lot of like earlier RPGs. It's like they have the stories. It's not like it is today where we have like cinematics and things like that, and you can really like play with it a lot. But actually, I felt like it was kind of good. What
does everyone say about 7? Oh, 7, Eris dies. She dies. It's so crazy. A character dies. No, there's a character that dies long before. His name is fucking Tella, and he was a badass. Sacrificed himself to cast Meteo.
Yeah, but he didn't get stabbed through the back by a mama's boy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he's way cooler. He wasn't playing in the pool somewhere. He was fucking fighting.
Yeah, but was it in glorious 3D running at like a solid 331,
Only if you put in the Konami code, which nobody did because it was a Square Enix game.
Yeah.
Or is this a Squaresoft game, actually?
Yeah, I was like, what?
Square Enix at that point, yeah.
I didn't even think did the PS1 even run at 480i? Did it? I don't think it did.
Not.
I think it ran at like what the Genesis and stuff ran at, which was like 331i or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that was 40, but
Yeah. Regardless, yeah. Did it have that and sick polygons? No, it didn't. So that's why.
Well,
Final
not till
Fantasy.
later.
Yeah.
I'll take sprites to polygons any day.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Hence why the Super Nintendo ones that aren't 5 are at the top of my list.
Right. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, the reason I have 9 higher is just because. I mean, to be fair, nostalgia plays a large part in me for Final Fantasy 9
Oh,
because
for sure, with 3 and 6 for me too, or 4 and 6 for me too.
Yeah, because I played the order in which I really played Final Fantasy games was the first one I played. Honestly, I think was Mystic Quest because I remember getting it for Christmas with my Super Nintendo, and then I played 7, but I like borrowed it from a friend, so I got to like roughly somewhere in the middle of the first disc, and then I got Final Fantasy 9 for my birthday. And so Final Fantasy 9, I feel like, is like the first real Final Fantasy game I ever really played, and it was amazing.
Dang, man, how did your childhood
I loved
go that way?
every second of it. Well, I had a Sega Genesis.
That's why.
Yeah, I had a Sega Genesis, and then I got a
Wait,
PS1.
you didn't have a friend with a Super Nintendo?
No, I had a Super Nintendo.
Yeah, a friend.
Oh.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I had Final
How
Fantasy
did
Mystic
you not
Quest.
have? Oh, yeah.
Well,
that's
because
right.
I was too busy playing like Star Fox and action games and Sonic
Okay.
Hedgehog. Yeah, maybe you've heard of it.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I'll
I
give it to you.
I had the
Well,
cartridge for 4 for
yeah.
2, and
And
then,
then
we
yeah.
rented 6 or 3 a bunch of times to like beat it over and over again because me and my dad loved it.
Yeah, and then I had
Ah.
I had other RPGs too. Like I had like Legend of Dragoon.
So I grew up with the Genesis. In fact, I grew up with Sega systems. We didn't get our first Nintendo until
Yeah, I had
was
like
10.
yeah, I mean, I had other RPGs. I had Shining Force for the Genesis, and yeah, things like that.
But
Actually, I think
remember-
I played Final Fantasy Tactics. I think I played Tactics before I played 8 or really like any other Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Other than 7, I played 7 and then I played Tactics. But it was so for me it went 2 or 4 and then 6 and then 5 because we had emulation at the time. And no, maybe it was 7 first. It went 4, 6, 7, Tactics, 5, 8, 9, 10, and then from there.
Yeah.
And one came after. One came after 2, so I don't even count that because it's not even a blip on my radar.
Yeah.
So, as I said, I grew up with Sega Genesis, but I had a friend that had a Super Nintendo. So the first Final Fantasy game I played was 3. Oh, I annoyed the fuck out of my friend. Just
mean,
like I always wanted to play the Super Nintendo. He always wanted to go outside and do stuff.
What a loser!
But,
God.
Right?
It's like when Alan was coming over to my apartment in Portland, and he was like, we were doing our Madden thing. He's like, "Do you want to go outside and throw the football?" I was like, "No, God, why would I want to do that?"
God, Alan, we're playing video games.
We're playing video game football. Why would I want to go outside and actually play football? It was probably raining outside anyway.
But yeah, from there it went. So 6/3.
Right.
is, American release numbering. 1 through emulation, 2 through emulation, 5, then 7, 8, 10, 9, then 13, then 12, and I never played 4.
Right.
That sucks, man. You need to go play 4.
Okay.
I have no excuse for not playing 4. I
Right.
literally have.
It's
none.
on now. You can get it on so many different ways. Okay, so real quickly, I will say, as we're almost done here. So one of the things we said early on was we don't want for this list we're looking at them and their original versions because we don't want to open it up to definitive versions. If we did allow it up to definitive versions, would that change really anybody's numbering?
No.
I mean, no, I don't think so.
I have the 10.2 PS3 remaster, and honestly, I have a hard time going back and playing those kind of games without something to speed them up. Like even the Final Fantasy games, like on Super Nintendo, I'll go through and play them like once every year or so, but I play them with frame rate increase.
Right.
'Cause
Well,
they're
so I know
slow.
that the 3DS version of 3 is like a 3D kind of pseudo 3D or whatever.
They did that with 4 too, yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
have you played those? Are those?
DS version. I played a little bit of the DS version. Not. I think. Isn't it like Children of Light is the 3 remake or something
No,
like
that's
that?
a 1 remake. The
Oh,
Warriors
okay.
of Light. Yeah.
Warriors of Light. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, there is our list. Our list goes 13, 2, 3, 12, 1, 7, 8, 10, 5, 9, 4, 6. So, I don't know. We figured we'd try something new with a Let's Rank. We could certainly do it again with any other series. Alan really wants to do the non-main series of Final Fantasy games, so we could certainly.
Oh, that's gonna be a fucking shit fest. I can't wait.
Yeah, we'd have to.
haven't
That would
played
have
enough
to.
of those. It's
That would have
tactic.
to be. That would have to be like a top. We have to pick 10 because there's just so many different games.
5 maybe.
And then yeah, we could argue back and forth about that. But so anyway, there you go, guys. As always, thanks for listening.